back again. Kiwi Christian here. I've got my friend here in the chat. Can I say your name? David Neff. He's done a few debates online. There's something about him that I quite like, and don't take it the wrong way, dear. We've had a few chats back and forth, and we both seem to be, quite polite and what have you. So, yeah, I'm just sort of having a chat with him. I am not a debater. I am a Christian. I believe in a literal 7-day creation about 6,000 years ago. I do believe evolution to be wrong, but I think I know why I believe what I believe. It's one thing to know what you believe, but it's another to know why you believe it. And I've just finished my version of draaiwors, which is South African dried sausage. This is a boerewors, which is a South African sausage, normally in a coil. I smoked it, I put it in my food smoke and then I dehydrated it. You don't cook it. Oh, love it. Okay, what do you want to talk about, David? Do you have any questions for me? Oh God, that's good. David says we can talk about evolution. Duh. What about it? Tell me. I might mimic some of Kent Hovind's sayings, my friend. David, what's one reason or one proof that you believe in evolution? Oh God, you're good. Sometimes it's hard to pin someone down. Oh, I was going to ask you that question, you idiot. Okay, David says that he believes in evolution because it happens and it is observed. David has then just asked me, can you define what evolution means? And that was going to be my answer to him. If you mean changes over time, I totally agree. We see that and it happens. But I think that's a very deceitful and devious definition. I've asked a number of evolutionists the definition of evolution, and I get wildly different answers. So if evolution you mean changes changes over time, then yes. We see dogs, big dogs, little dogs, yellow dogs, brown dogs, dogs, in colder climates evolve thicker fur. Those in hotter climates, maybe no fur, and things like that. Yep, we see that happening. I would say that's evolution. They've adapted, but they're still a dog. They're still canine. Okay, David said the most basic definition is the change in allele frequencies in the gene pool over time. The gene pool of what? The human gene pool? the canine gene pool. These genetic changes eventually give rise to new and distinct species from a single, and I would pretty much agree with that. I think that's what I said, but what's a species, David? Hello, tiger, come here. See, I have a tiger here. See, here's my tiger. Hello. Gene pool in a population of species. What's a species? So far I'm agreeing with you. My gosh, a Christian. My other cat is Simba. He is Ginger and he's 30 years old. That's Tiger. She's a couple of years. I'm a cat person. Anyway. Okay. David said that a species is a group of organisms capable of interbreeding and producing fertile offspring. I totally agree. Hello, madam. You saying hello, Dad? You're saying feed me. So David says it looks like the only thing we really disagree with is the time scale and the extent of it. Yes, you say that certain things can take millions of years. I say, well, no, certain things can take hundreds or thousands of years. I mean, the Earth being around 6,000 or 7,000 years old, if it's true, that's, I don't know what I was doing yesterday. We don't know, it's a long time. I mean, my first modem wasn't even 56 kilobytes a second or something. It was ridiculous. And now look at us. And that was only a few decades ago. You want some of Daddy's dry wars? Try that. I would say our main difference would be the extent of what you define a species as, maybe. I'm going to use the word kind, and as Kent Hovind, Dr. Mr. whatever you want to call him, said, it is hard to describe what a kind is. And of course, our classification of what is a kind may be different to God's definition of kind, if God is real. It's one of those things, I think, that everybody knows what a kind is. Come on, let's face it. But they can't describe it or define it. I mean, dog, wolf, coyote, cat. Anyone would say that the cat is not like the other. I'm not going to sing the Sesame Street song. I've got a voice that sounds like a duck farting in a fog. I believe if you gave a dog breeder 2 generic mutts in 20 years, or 50 years or something, he can create the entire number of dogs we've got today. It's strange because when we look at different coloured people, we don't say, oh, what species is he? So, I don't know where that came from. So, I would agree with that. Oh, Now David's playing with fire. David has said, of course, if you do orangutan, human, chimpanzee, gorilla, it should be obvious we are all part of the ape kind. I think if you give that to any native in the jungle or child, they will point out the human as being different. We are in the same family as the other great apes. Well, you're implying that we're part of the great apes. Okay, so what does that mean? Why are we in the same category? Because we share the similar DNA? Because why? And who's deciding these things? We share similar DNA and morphological similarities. Well, are you saying that you are related to the chair that I hope you're sitting on because you're both made of atoms? You share atoms. And who decided that, David? David said primates are collectively defined as any gill-less organic RNA/DNA protein-based metabolic, metazoic, nucleic. You need to use smaller words. I'm an ignorant New Zealand Kiwi guy. Okay. Who's deciding that? Scientists who develop. So a group of people got together and decided this. I simply don't believe that. We are built from the same material, DNA. Oh gosh. I might slap you outside of the face, honey. He has just said you should see Aaron Ra's Classification of Life series. I wouldn't watch that idiot if you paid me. The way he... no, I'm not even going to go there, brother. Yes, I think I should study more on classifications. But I say to classify something just because we sort of share similar appearances, although some look more like a monkey than others, and we are all built with DNA. I'm sorry. I just think it's a common designer, not a common ancestor. Can you show me a missing link between man and ape, please? And while you're thinking of that, David has said scientists use large and complex words in brackets. They are large and complex. Because we need precision, which is what words like kinds don't provide. Yeah, sorry, I've got a bad back and bad neck. Hang on, slow down. I think scientists use large and complex words so that only a few select people can understand them. How do you determine if something is common design or common ancestor? I think, I don't know off the top of my head, but I go back to what you said about bringing forth. They could interbreed. Don't just say, okay, I asked David here, show me a common, no, not a common, a missing link, an intermediate thing. And he's asked me, what would I accept as a missing link? Neanderthals, Homo erectus, etc. I think it's funny because it's got the word homo and erect in it. Sorry. Which Neanderthal? Show me. It's not a case of what I accept, it's a case of what you accept. Show me a missing link. Are we talking about Lucy, Peking man, Nebraska man? What? Would you accept Lucy as an intermediate species? And then I've got some questions for you. Yeah, would you consider Lucy? Okay, Lucy. David reckons Lucy is his great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandma. Okay, fossil skeleton of Lucy, a female of the hominin species. Lucy skeleton, one of the most complete hominin specimens ever found, was discovered in 1974. Yeah, just before the guy's grant ran out. Australopithecus. Yeah, anyway. Age 2.2 million years old. Right. I've got a question for you, David. Yes, I used to be able to pronounce that word, Australopithecine or something. Anyway. You do know that the knee that they used for Lucy, or that they said was Lucy, was found about a mile away and 200 feet or 200 meters underground. How can it be Lucy's knee? How fast was the train going that hit that chimp? I'll have to get back to you to cite my sources. Okay, apparently there were two knee joints, one found nearby and one found far away. So hang on. So this wasn't actually a skeleton they found, it was just a group of bones. Were there any other bones with them? Or were all the bones that they found made up into Lucy? How big was the excavation area? And how many Lucys have been found? trying to multitask here. Now, I must admit, David, that I will have to check on my sources for what I said about Lucy. Yes, because there are over 300 specimens. And are they all the same kind? So are we saying that there's only 300 of a population of a thing that died? If you go to Cambodia, you will find mass graves of human skeletons. My problem, David, is that these so-called missing links, we only find a few. One here, one there, one here, one. That doesn't tell us anything. How close was this other Lucy found to this Lucy, if you know what I mean? I'm going to call them Lucies because I can't pronounce that word. So you're saying there are 300 Lucies. As in 300 dog skeletons, 300 cat skeletons, 300 human skeletons, 300 Lucy skeletons, or are you saying 300 similar looking skeletons to Lucy? What I'm saying is, where is the population of Lucy? What I see happening is, what we find is something died. That's all we know. Okay, that's fine. You're going to look that up. I would expect if you find a group of bones, say within a 3-foot radius, they would be the same animal. But if you have to search miles or hundreds of feet, you don't know that those bones connect to each other. Did Lucy have any kids? Would be another one. I go along with Kent Hovind's I can't see any blown up portion. Flick me a link. I don't think it's a red herring to say, did Lucy have any kids? I mean, a missing link has a link before and a link after. All we find, if you find something that died, you don't know it's a missing link. All you know is something died. Yeah, I know. I know what a red herring is. The cults use it a lot. So where were these other Lucys found? Were they the same type? I use the word types. Were they the same kind of bones or types of bones? If you found a mass grave somewhere, you would know that all the bones in it were from humans, or they were from dogs, or from dinosaurs, you know, the massive boneyards and what have you. All you found is that something died and you called it Lucy. Yeah, I think you can know where they lived. when, I don't think dating methods work, but what they look like, possibly. I'm wondering, why do all the missing links, like the Neanderthals and that, have dark skin? Alone, I hope. Sorry, mate. Story of my life. Yes, so you can find their DNA. Okay, the pictures that I saw at school, they were all dark. I'm sorry, mate. All I see with Lucy is something died. Now, if you can find other skeletons, they don't have to be complete skeletons of Lucy or Lucy-type animals, then I would probably concede that, yes, Lucy was a type of animal, a kind. But what we find is we only find one or two of these things. See, that's a missing link. Rubbish! Something died. David said that Neanderthals have white skin. The pictures I've seen all have black skin. I'm just looking for missing link humans. Okay, I'm seeing some white ones. I'm seeing some dark ones. No, I see most of them as dark. Well, David, you're going off soon. I'm getting a sore throat and I've got to do some shopping. I'd like to talk about these missing links more in future. I don't like preparing for things because I just can't get on. I just can't, I just can't do it. I prefer to do things ad hoc, I think, if that's the right term. I'm not well learned. I failed all my grades in school about 30, 40 years ago. Yeah, well, maybe we could set something up. I don't want it to be an official debate or anything. I would prefer it to be two people talking. That's all. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I still can't see Lucy as a missing link. What about one last thing, Nebraska Man? I believe that was built up from one pig tooth, and that was used for many years as proof of evolution. Also, if we chat in the future or do a video or something, I don't want it to be a case of evolutionist slays Christian, or win. It's not a case of winning or losing. It's a case of discussing why we believe what we believe, and in the grand scheme of things, let's face it, David, you're not going to make me an atheist. I'm not going to make you a Christian. No, I know that. I know you don't. None of your videos have that title. Someone did do a rebuttal on one of my videos, and I was quite honoured. I didn't watch it because I hate seeing myself. I've got very low self-esteem. But it was good. I don't mind people, let's talk, guys, if you disagree with me. That's why it's so hard to talk to someone these days without offending them. I've got a picture of a cartoon character holding a flaming torch saying, "Protect the easily offended. Ban everything." And, yeah, I like that. But okay, let's have a chat. Just putting in my email account. I have depression and a lot of issues, so sometimes I'm just not in the mood. That's why I sort of can't prepare for anything. So I prefer just two people chatting. Plus, I've got an elderly friend who is days away from passing away. So that's really hard at the moment, but he knows what's going to happen when he dies. I hope you do too, David. But yeah, okay, so this has been a good little discussion between myself and David Neff, a atheist who I've seen. No, thank you. He's been a really good friend. He's I won't tell you how old he is because it's irrelevant. But yeah, he's just waiting to go. Yeah, so to anyone else watching, this I think is how a Christian and a non-Christian should talk. How a creationist and evolutionist should talk. We haven't abused each other. We haven't made ad hominem attacks. I disagree with his lifestyle. He disagrees with mine. Fine, get over it, ladies. Talk. I saw a sign once, don't hate, debate. It's not a case of win and lose people. It's a case of examining and getting to know our friend, our other people. I'm sure you're not offended if I call you an atheist. I'm not offended if you call me a Christian or a creationist. If I call somebody black or fat or old or young, oh, PC police, bugger off. Okay, words are not violence. Would you agree? Words are not violence. Two people can agree to disagree agreeably. Think about that. We can agree to disagree agreeably. I've got a habit of dragging things out, David, so it depends on what those words are. I want to kill all the Jews. I don't know. I'm going to leave you with one of Kent Hovind's. I'm not a Hovinite, okay? I believe he's on his fourth wife right now. And, sorry, personal life credibility stakes in my books, based on my interpretation of the Bible. Okay? He obviously thinks that's okay based on his interpretation of the Bible. Okay, get over it. Oh, I think his son is a rotten piece of work. I think his son I think Eric Hovind should be ashamed. Again, I'm not sticking up for Kent. I feel sorry for all that he's been through, Kent. But yeah, I'm not a Hovinite. I disagree with some of his beliefs based on the Bible. That's fine. I believe he's a thief and a liar, Eric Hovind. I emailed him and told him he should return the property that he stole. One thing I've noticed, David, is that if I email Kent Hovind's crew, I do get a reply with, some information on background. You've probably seen the feud between him and what's his name? Used to work for him. Theo. Theo used to work for Kent, and they had a falling out, and Theo has made all these accusations, drugs and money laundering and all this, and all I did was ask Theo, show me evidence. If you know someone, or if you know that someone is breaking the law, show me evidence that you have reported it to the police. And he said I was a troll and a hovenite, and that's my word, hovenite. I find Kent's videos on evolution to be very good and correct. You obviously don't, but that's fine. I'm going to leave you with one of his sayings. David, if you knew half of everything, have you heard this one before? If you know half of everything, all of the accumulated knowledge in the universe, history, science, everything, if you knew half of everything, right? And let's face it, you and I, we don't know 1% of everything. So, but for argument's sake, this is something that he said, and I thought, that's interesting. Let's say, for argument's sake, you know half of everything. Okay? Here's the question. Could God exist in that half of everything you don't know about? That made me think. If you really thought, you could probably, find a loophole somewhere, but could God exist in that part of everything that you don't know about? Very interesting. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. Look after yourself. David has said that no, he could not exist. Well, for you to say that God could not exist, you would have to know everything and be everywhere. And you don't, Anyway, but if he did exist, he could exist in that half of something that you don't know about. Look after yourself, David. Keep safe. I think your video debating is going better. I was actually watching you yesterday, one of your earlier videos with Kent, and compared them with the latest one, and yeah, good. If I was a moderator, I would allow something like 20-minute opening statement, 10-minute rebuttal, 20-minute opening statement, 10-minute rebuttal, then maybe 10 minutes asking questions, 10 minutes asking questions, maybe closing, then live chat, questions. Something like that. I understand when Kent says that let's just forget the time clock and let's talk, but I think when that happens, someone can talk this amount of time and someone can talk that amount of time. That's why it's good to have equal share. So yeah, no, you look after yourself, David. I won't say God bless you because that would be offensive to you, but yeah, I do think about you. I do care about you. Not in that way, but gosh, who'd want me? But yeah, no, look after yourself. Flick me an email anytime. See, atheists and Christians, we don't hate each other. I think some atheists would hate Christians, and maybe some Christians hate atheists, but generally we're just we're two groups of people with different ideas. Big deal. Get over it. Last time I looked, oh my gosh. Last time I looked, I'm a human. David's a human. We're all humans. Come on. Some are better looking than others. Hey, Tiger. You gonna say goodbye? Oh! Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hello. Oh, I love you too. Okay, I'll let you have the final word, and yeah, we'll go. So David says, hurry up! If you're just tuning in, I've been talking with David Neff, a atheist. No, well, actually, no. Yes, an atheist and an evolutionist. I am a theist and a creationist. I believe the God of the Bible is real, and I think I can prove he's real. I believe the Bible is the Word of God. I would like to think I'm open enough to be convinced otherwise if somebody thinks that I am wrong. Okay, David's not replying for a final word, so I'll just say, look after yourselves, guys. I am going to say God bless you, because I do believe there is a God, and he loves you, he loves me, and oh, if you knew me, you would know I'm so unlovable. Okay, look after yourselves, and don't hate. Debate. If you've got something against someone or you don't agree with them, talk. Okay, look after yourselves.